What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Big N. Nobody calls me that. My name is Nick. Welcome to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me for another Hidden History, where we talk about the juicy gossip behind some of our favorite public figures. Today we're going to I don't know why I keep doing this with my fingers. I'm just so excited. Today I want to discuss one of my favorite writers and one of history's most legendary wits, Oscar Wilde. His most famous works, as you probably know, were like The Picture of Dorian Gray and the play The Importance of Being Earnest. But we're not here to talk about his plays or his books. We're here to talk about his salacious gay lifestyle. See, I did it again with the fingers. The fact that he was gay was not a well-kept secret during his life. It's actually because he refused to be fully in the closet that his life ended up being kind of difficult. As you can imagine, in Victorian England, they were a little homophobic. He was jailed, he was beat up, he was slandered, and it ultimately led to his untimely death. I don't know why I'm smiling when I say that. It's like sad words coming out of my mouth. He's almost like the world's first gay icon, although, to be honest, he wasn't really an activist. He was actually pretty determined to just live the easy life. He said, you know, the greatest aim for man is cultivated leisure. He worked for 2 years maybe as an editor at a women's magazine, and other than that, he basically never held down a real job. There is no tone of judgment in my voice when I say that because I am extremely jealous. I worked at a department store for 1 year, and I swear I lost a part of my soul that I will never get back. Oscar Wilde wasn't buying into that system. He in fact once told a homeless guy that he was lucky. He was like, "Why would you want to get a job?" And the homeless guy was like, "I need to buy bread." To which Oscar Wilde was like, "Why are you eating bread? You can be lazy and skinny. It's like the dream." Like most gay men in the world's history up until basically now, he had to get a wife. So in 1884, he married somebody named Constance Lloyd, but not without him insisting that he design the wedding dress. Everyone was like, "Oh, that Oscar Wilde is so eccentric." Where'd he go? Is he at the gym again? Yeah, he loves that locker room. For the first few years of his life, his mother was pretending that he was a girl, so he spent those formative years in women's clothing. I'm not saying that that makes a person gay, but I mean, my sisters always put me in dresses, and I'm as gay as the day is long. Although Ernest Hemingway's mother did the same thing to him, and he was very macho. He is what the gay community would call like a daddy, so he might have been doing that on the down low. Let me know in the comments if you want to find out more about Ernest Hemingway. I bet you I can dig up some dirt. Constance Lloyd seemed happy, by the way, with her gay husband. I mean, about a year into it, he told her that he couldn't have sex with her because he had gotten syphilis somehow, and he was afraid of giving it to her. I don't know how I got this syphilis. I must have somehow picked it up at the gym. But apparently he was not so afraid of giving syphilis to the rent boys and the working class gentlemen that he picked up and paid to have sex with him. They'll be fine as long as Constance is healthy. Oscar Wilde did have long-term relationships with men too. The most fated one was definitely Lord Alfred, who was 22 when he met Oscar Wilde. Lord Alfred's dad was not down with having a gay son. He went to the opening night of The Importance of Being Earnest and threatened to pelt Oscar Wilde with rotten turnips. That is gay bashing, by the way. They didn't have that word for it at the time, but I went to a very liberal college and there was a whole musical about bullying. It was like, "Welcome to college, where the suicide rates are abnormally high." So this guy was harassing Oscar Wilde and calling him a sodomite in public. So Oscar Wilde decided to sue him for libel. He's like, "You can't be calling me gay out in public. People are gonna kill me." But then a private investigator took one look at Oscar Wilde's life and was like, "Where is the lie, though?" So, in a twist of fate, Oscar Wilde was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor at Reading Prison. This is not a good sentence to have when you had spent your whole life writing books about how much you hated hard labor. So, as you might have guessed, being imprisoned at a work camp was not great for Oscar Wilde. And he still didn't want to work, by the way. He was refusing to get out of bed one morning, and a guard yanked him up, and he fell and cracked his skull. It's like really early, and you just broke my head bone. Can we not? Being put in jail ruined his life. When he got out, he had no career and no money, so he had to prove that he was wholesome, which meant straight, and so he went to a brothel. Only in Victorian England could going to a brothel be considered more wholesome than wanting to hold hands with a boy. It must have been hard to be gay back then. Just like it's probably hard to be black or a woman now. Hashtag real talk. So when he got into this brothel, everybody in town was like, "Nuh-uh, he's such a homo. He's gonna have sex with a girl." So they gathered around outside, and then when he came out, he was like, "Never doing that again." He described a woman's vagina like cold mutton. Whenever it's compared to food, I get really, really weirded out. That poor man, he suffered so much. And do you remember his cracked skull from jail? He was actually getting surgery to fix that when he contracted meningitis in his brain, which eventually killed him in 1900. If I lived in any time during the past, like up until 1980, I would not be getting any surgeries and I would not be taking any medications, because it seems like medical science of days past was just giving everybody cone heads and baby hands and their brains were falling out of their noses. I would rather just catch pneumonia and die at the ripe old age of 30. Don't try telling Oscar Wilde that though, because just like the character Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde was obsessed with looking youthful. He was very self-conscious about his gray hair, but the dye he used caused his face and his arms and his back to start itching uncontrollably. For the last 10 years of his life, he was scratching at himself like a crazy person. And it wasn't just itching. He was not great looking in the face. Just generally, he didn't have it going on in the face region, particularly his teeth, because he got a mercury treatment to help his syphilis. And it turned his teeth black and rotted, so if he was ever talking to anybody, he was covering his hand with his mouth. He wouldn't laugh with an open mouth. He didn't want anybody to see his teeth. Most gay people, we try to take very good care of our teeth, as you can see. So that must have been quite a struggle for him. I hope you've enjoyed learning some of these lesser known facts. Subscribe to my channel so that you never miss another video from me, and give me a thumbs up if you like these hidden history videos, because I will keep making them. You can also let me know in the comments if there are any particular public figures you want to know more about. You can follow me for content all day on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much.